Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at Afnan's 9am dive. Alright, so 9am dive is from the House of Afnan. It's no depart from concentration, and you can pick this sucker up for $34 at places like Fragrance Buy. I'm gonna have a link down in the description if you decide you want to check this one out. Also have a coupon code, save yourself $5 off your first purchase at Fragrance Buy if you decide you want to shop with them. Box presentation on this, pretty straightforward, but pretty nice. It's got this nice kind of light blue box to it, nice thick cardboard, actually a really thick cardboard on this. 9am right on the front there, and a nice silver metallic. All the necessaries on the back, and it is a slide off top like so to a kind of darker blue base to it. And there we have our bottle sitting nice and snug inside that box. It is kind of a styrofoamy style of kind of bed to that has this kind of nice beach, aquatic, ocean scene, so fitting with the name dive. So overall, box presentation on this, nothing too special, but you know, pretty good presentation, nice sturdy box. Bottle on this is, if you're familiar with the 9pm from Afnan, which is a hype machine in the fragrance community, it's the exact same bottle, it's just only blue, so pretty straightforward, but it is a nice bottle, nice heavy, thick glass on this, kind of nice rounded corners, got the kind of, you know, circular orb top to it, nice thick heavy metal. This would actually kind of hurt if you dropped it on your toe. And the atomizer on this, pretty good, decent distribution, nice long sprays, get the job done. But what does this smell like? So some of the notes listed in Afnan's 9am dive is lemon, we got some mint, pink pepper, black currant, cedar, apple, incense, patchouli, sandalwood, ginger, and some jasmine. So let me tell you what I get from this. In the opening, you get that nice, bright, citrusy style of lemon. A little tickle of that pink pepper, but you get more of that kind of fresh, spicy mint that comes up top. That black currant is definitely there as well. And you get this nice apple note that comes through. So the apple is kind of more of a sweet, tart style of green apple note. Has a lot of sweetness, has kind of that Invictus-y style of vibe going on to it, but it also kind of reminds me a little bit of like Armaf Hunter Intense, maybe a little bit of Lattafa Fakar. It has that kind of blue style of opening, similar to the kind of YSLY style of DNA. In the opening, that's what I get, is that sweetness to it. It's got that kind of like that zesty sort of lemon vibe going on to it. Really, really nice opening, but it is a very familiar blue style of fragrance that kind of runs along the designer lines, as well as some of the clones that are in the Middle Eastern houses, like I said, with Armaf and Lattafa. Really nice opening to this. As this develops, more of that apple kind of comes through, it becomes more of the star of the show, but that mint kind of lingers on, and you get this nice kind of ginger that starts to pop through. So it adds kind of like a sparkle to it, a little bit of kind of some effervescence to it, adding a little bit more kind of a citrus note to it and a touch of sweetness. Really, really nice ginger note in this. I do enjoy a good ginger, and this has a very lovely ginger note in this. It also has this incense note in there that it more adds a texture to it. It adds kind of a powderiness to it, a little bit of dustiness to it, but it's not like a smoky style of incense that comes through. It's not like a smoky apple accord. That'd be kind of interesting if it was, but it's not. So just more of a texture that incense adds to it. It's not like a standout smokiness to it. Really quite nice, very enjoyable, but again, it is a very familiar blue style of fragrance. And as you work to the dry down, you get a little bit more cedar and sandalwood that kind of peek its head out from just behind, adding just a touch of woods to it, a little bit more of that patchouli coming through, adding some earthiness to this. But you still have that apple, you got that mint that rides along, and you have that ginger that kind of sits on top of those woods and that earthy patchouli, just making this a really enjoyable, pleasant, easy to wear, a blue style of fragrance. Like I said, in the opening, it's a little bit more of that YSLY, that Armaf Hunter Intense, maybe a little bit of that Lattafa Fakar, but as it dries down, it kind of moves a little bit more into that kind of Bleu de Chanel territory, that ginger, the incense sort of vibe going on to it. I've compared this next to Armaf's Club de Nuit Icon, the new one that came out. And there are parallels between the dry downs of this one and the Iconic. They are different, but there are more overlaps with those two fragrances than in the initial opening. So it does move through kind of a step series of different blue fragrances, but in the end, it's just a very easy to wear, mass appealing, crowd pleasing style of blue fragrance. Really well put together, really well blended, nice balance, that sweet notes with some citrus, some fresh spiciness, and that earthiness. So overall, the scent profile on this is very nice. So when it comes to the performance of Afnan's 9am dive, a bit of a belly flop. to be quite honest. I'm not sure if I had high expectations because 9 p.m. is a beast mode fragrance for me. I get, you know, a full day wear for that, 10 plus hours with the 9 p.m. This one, I got maybe 4 hours off my skin, 5 off my clothes. It's just, this one just did not perform for me. I'm not sure if my skin just like absorbed this one or if it's just the weather is too cold, too dry where I live right now, but the performance on this just really sucked. Even for kind of like a fresh style of fragrance, this just did not perform. First hour, it kind of projected off a little bit, but it was really a skin scent at that point, and about the 4 hour mark off my skin, it was more or less gone. Again, if I got some on my clothes, it would linger on a little bit longer, but it was still fairly faint on my clothes even at that point, even when I was overspraying. So to be quite honest, I'm a little disappointed with the performance on this. I was expecting a little bit more, and disappointed because the scent profile is so good on this. It's such a nice blue style of fragrance. I just wish it performed better. So in terms of where and when I think Afnan's 9 a.m. Dive would be most appropriate, definitely a summer spring style of fragrance. It's got that freshness, it's got that kind of zesty citrus that's worked in there, that fresh spiciness, that ginger, that apple note that's worked in there. Really a summer style of fragrance, and definitely something you could wear in the spring for those warmer days, the high heat. I think this is gonna do just perfect. I've worn this in the winter now and it just doesn't push through the cold. It doesn't have that kind of vibe, and same with the fall. It just doesn't fit the kind of vibe for fall. Spring, summer is definitely where I think this one's best. In terms of occasions, I think this is a great casual wear fragrance. Running errands, heading to the gym, working in the office, going to lunch with friends, going about your day-to-day. I think this is a perfect fragrance, just a dumb reach. You can grab off the shelf, apply, and go about your day without really thinking about it. Don't think this is a date night fragrance necessarily. It doesn't have that sexiness, doesn't have that kind of, you know, overtly kind of sensual nature to it. Like I said, a very casual style fragrance. And in terms of dress up, again, it's got more kind of a youthful, playful, very casual sort of vibe going on to it. So date nights and formal, not your best selection. There are better fragrances out there for that. Casual spring summer fragrance is where this one does best. So my overall thoughts on Afnan's 9 a.m. Dive. Really pleasant fragrance. The scent accords on this are absolutely just great. It's a great blue fragrance. I love that lemon, apple, mint style of opening. Just very bright, invigorating, right level of sweetness to it. Just got that very fresh style of opening to it. I really like the texture that incense adds. I like the kind of pop and sparkle that ginger adds with that little touch of sweetness, that little bit of extra kind of citrus it adds, and the kind of subtle woods and that nice earthy patchouli that kind of works in, giving it kind of a nice base, that kind of masculine edge to it. I think the scent accord on this is really well done. I think it's very well blended. I think the quality is definitely there. Really smells nice, but I got to dock marks for the performance. And again, I'm not sure if it's because I live in a dry climate right now. I'm not sure if it's just this will activate better in the heat. I couldn't tell you at this point. My experience was I just got terrible performance with this. I'm not sure if my expectations were high because of that 9 p.m., but 4 hours for me and it becomes a skin scent pretty much after the first hour was a big letdown for me. So I'm disappointed in that neighborhood. Again, it's a great, easy to wear casual fragrance. You can wear this across many different sort of casual occasions, including the office and the gym. But the performance, bit of a letdown. I think there are other blue fragrances out there in the Middle Eastern houses that are gonna do the job a little bit better. Armaf's Club de Nuit Iconic is a good one. The Armaf Hunter Intense. Lattafa Fakar, all those kind of blue style of fragrances that are in the same genre, same neighborhood as this fragrance. I think you're gonna get better performance overall. For $35, buyer beware. Can't necessarily recommend it, but you make up your mind. That's Afnan's 9 a.m. Dive. And I want to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite blue style of fragrances from Middle Eastern houses? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.